Hi, this is Henry Hong again, Director of Food and Beverage. This time we're here in the Charles Street Grill bar, one of the more beautiful bars of Baltimore. And we left off last time with a close-up of a Gibson. And I think I mentioned that even though the gin was very cold, it was very clear. So I just wanted to give you a couple of sort of demonstrations about shaking versus stirring. We'll go into a little bit about traditional cocktails and traditional cocktail garnishes. But for now, very quickly, you can see what we have is something called a Boston shaker. This is something slightly larger than a pint glass, and we have these nice kind of shaped pint glasses. I'm gonna show you real fast the effect of shaking again versus stirring. So probably if you've ever been to a cocktail bar or a hotel bar or anything like that, a lot of it is part of the song and dance, the show aspect of a hospitality experience, but the shaking of a cocktail. So many times you'll see just very elaborate like this, up and down. Some bartenders will insist on 25 vigorous shakes. You'll see some sort of show bartenders going all over the place in circles and things like that. The idea of shaking, of course, is probably 4 effects that you want to achieve. One, of course, is chilling down very rapidly. You can see the condensations already appearing on the metal part of the Boston shaker. So rapid chilling. In addition to that, you have ice that's moving through your liquid, the alcohol, the cocktail mixture, and melting at the same time. So dilution is a part of that as well. And then mixing of the ingredients themselves, if you have more than one type of alcohol and other mixers in the cocktail shaker. And then lastly, it's actually aeration of the liquid. And you'll see after vigorous shaking, we're all familiar with what happens. Oh, another quick tip. If you find that your shakers are stuck together, what happens is the steel, the metal, gets very cold and it contracts against the glass, which remains the same size relatively. So it creates a seal and a lot of times they're stuck together. A quick tip is if you look from the top, where the middle of the glass meets the edge of the Boston shaker, if you go a quarter turn to either side, that's the sweet spot. You give it a tap and it should come loose very easily. So we have a strainer here, and you'll see that even though it's gin, you can see the tiny little bubbles. Had I shaken it even more vigorously, look to the side, it does have that less than clear, crystal clear, transparent appearance, and that is due to the gas bubbles that are dissolved in there. So what that does is 2 things. It creates texture, kind of a creamy mouthfeel because of the dissolved gases, and then it also tamps down the flavors. So it numbs your tongue physically because of the temperature, and the flavors themselves are diminished a little bit. So it makes sense with a cocktail with very, very strong flavors and lots of different ingredients to kind of come together as a cohesive unit. But when you have a very nice product, not that Tanqueray is the most expensive, but I really like it a lot. If you're talking about a very boutique type of gin, like something back here, this Bar Hill, which is distilled from honey. These beautiful products, for me at least, and I'm a bit of a purist, I like to taste this product. So I'm not really a fan of shaking. You know, the famous James Bond, shaken not stirred. Well, if you're talking about the 60s and 70s and vodka was still a new thing in the US, it probably didn't taste that good. So shaking probably made the cocktail a little bit more palatable. But if you're talking about, say, a Manhattan with a really nice bourbon or a rye, you don't want to mask all the work that went into distilling, then blending, then aging, then tasting, and blending again. You really want to taste that product and that craftsmanship. So instead of shaking this time, we will take our bar spoon and just give it a couple stirs. And now all we're doing, yes, there's a little bit of dilution involved, but we're chilling it down without fundamentally affecting what the product tastes like. So it's just a gentle stir, much more civilized, and you can see it looks crystal clear, no bubbles, the straight dope. That to me is a delicious looking martini. You notice I didn't put any vermouth in, that's just for we're demonstrating some techniques rather than recipes. I like my martinis with a twist. Some people like it with savory ingredients such as olives, of course, blue cheese olives. I've seen pepperoncini martinis. If you all remember, what was it, maybe early 2000s was the age of the martini list. You go to any bar and they'd have 10, 15 martinis. It was a painful time for me because I really consider a martini to be either gin or vodka, preferably gin, maybe with a little bit of vermouth. I actually happen to like vermouth in a martini. And then your choice of garnishes. Typically it'd either be a twist or olives. If you use onions, as we did in our last video, that will be considered a Gibson. But on the subject of twists, depending on what bar you go to, often you'll see even a whole lemon is a classic where they have scored it into strips. When someone orders a twist, they will take that piece of peel off and you'll see kind of a thick rind. I don't want to ruin this lemon by doing that, but the proper way to execute a twist, just like with any other culinary application, when you're looking at a citrus fruit, all the aromatics, essential oils, they're located in the zest of the fruit, which is the colored area. So in a lemon, you have a pretty good margin for error because the zest has a little bit of thickness to it before you get to the pith. And what you're looking for, you can see I'm using a vegetable peeler here, is to get the zest with none of the pith. The pith, the white part of the peel, the rind of a citrus fruit is extremely bitter and offers really no aromatics or anything valuable to, to anything you're using it for. So
it's beautiful.
And again, a zest like this, nice wide strip, all zest, no pith. So ultimately what you want to have happen, we have this nice wide strip of pristine zest to get some of the oils out. You like to fold in half, and if you can sort of see in the light, I don't know if it's possible, but you can often, in bright light, actually see those oils kind of coming right off of the zest if you squeeze it, to get them airborne and into your nose. And then you take the outside edge, rub it against the outside of the glass. What you're doing is depositing those oils right onto the glass itself so that when you raise it up to take a drink, you're smelling them. An actual twist to get the shape set, and then I usually even give it a quick stir around into the cocktail itself and let it rest on the bottom. You're maximizing extraction of those essential oils and volatile compounds so that when you raise it to your nose, that's the first thing that hits you. I can even smell it from here right now. Proper way to make a zest.